FX presents the Indoob podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Hello. Good morning, Indoobians. I'm T. Sterling Watson.
And I'm Courtney.
This is the Indoob podcast, where drive time meets late night talk show, as we aim to entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. Thank you for stopping by and pressing play. We're recording live from the south side of Little New Indoobia on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive. Wow, Courtney, I memorized the whole thing.
Did you really? Or are you looking at a script? I feel like you're looking at a script.
I am not looking at a script. I am still looking for my email that I had sent you.
Good job. That was from memory. I'm proud.
It was, and it just flowed naturally. I didn't have any stops, and I'm not drawing attention to the fact that all these other times I've been reading it.
Not at all.
Anyway, that just gave me a boost of excitement and confidence. But anyway, how are you doing?
I am fabulous. How are you doing?
I'm great. And I'm realizing why it took me so long to find what I was trying to send you, because I didn't actually send it to myself. I had to go in my send folder and I was supposed to send it to myself so that way I can find it again. But yeah, we're all good. Everything is found. And you said you're good. Things are well. I feel like at the very top, I should just make this formal announcement that we are now on Anchor. That is our new hosts. We are not on Podbean anymore. Well, I think we technically still might be. You might be able to find us on Podbean, but we are now hosted on Anchor.
Woohoo! We moving on up.
Yes. And for the reasons, why there's technical reasons I don't feel like getting into, but I feel not that Podbean did anything wrong, but as you just said, I feel like we're moving on up. So why not just move on up? And that is also where Love Blurs is hosted. So it should make things slightly easier to, not really, because I have to sign into two separate accounts, but that's okay. That's my problem, not yours. So,
right. But you got this though. You got it.
I do. And I wanted to make that announcement just in case there was any kind of issues for any dear listeners that have subscribed or listened and suddenly they can't find the pod, or I don't think there's any issues. I checked for most of them. In fact, we've even, I'm now listed on other pod grabbers that weren't, that we weren't on before. So yeah.
Well, I'm happy to hear it. And I think it'll be a very smooth transition.
Oh, thank you very much. One of the additional things that we now can do with Anchor is that we can have questions. I don't know if they took the poll away. I think they took that away, where you can have poll questions and people vote. But definitely for questions. And I'll try to think of some after we wrap up, or unless we come up with some during, and then hey, let's ask the audience and they can weigh in, and you can answer these questions either on Anchor, on our Anchor page, or on Spotify. So nice. That's some brand newness or announcements or housekeeping, as I hear other people talk about and say. I think you can also feature, if you want to donate, I think there's also options to do that too. I'm not sure if I can finish setting that up, but I'll look into that later. But yeah, other than that, I'm still adjusting to my new job and the schedule, sleeping habits. And there's just a whole bunch of things into that. And I know there are people who are kind of curious and how things are going at Espen. And yes, that's what I'm going to call it, because it's four letters and 4 syllables. I'm trying to save some time. That comes up later when we get into our big space segment. We'll talk about that, even though it already has a name. I gave it a name already, but nobody wants to use it, but we're going to use it here. So, but we'll talk about that later. Right now, Espen is great. Training. I want to say I am learning a lot, and I'm enjoying it. And there are times that I will text Courtney, as well as, my lovely wife, and then a few other select people that know, my inner circle, I'll say, that I'm I can't believe this is my life now. I'm going to work here. And like my mother I sent her a picture of what I had for breakfast one day, and I guess the shot just seemed like it was like from a brochure, because she was like, wow, it looks like you're at a resort. Because I was sitting outside on the patio, and then you could just see the Espen logo in the background, and the blue sky, the sunshine, and everything. And I'm like, well, it may look like I'm at a resort, and I will even say that the food is at like resort status. So I haven't had a bad meal yet, and I'm just trying to, behave and budget, and not just go like, ooh, I'm going to order lunch and breakfast every day, and then maybe something to go home to,
right,
or go home with. So
that's maybe overkill, maybe.
Pretty right, and I don't want to do that. I just want to, level it out. So that's the what I'm trying to do. And because of, I remember discussing before that reasons why I've never probably made it too far within the interview process at Espen is because of my sports awareness. And I gotta say that we lack thereof. Yes, exactly that. It's definitely growing, whether you want it to or not. If you work at Espen, you are going to absorb, and people told me this, and I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't know how quickly it was going to happen. So it's already happening. So whatever news is like current, plus I didn't have much of a choice. I was doing a lot of shadowing, sitting in, watching live broadcasts, which was very fun. Like I did enjoy it. And then when I'm not there, I'm sometimes in what they call the green room or a prep room. And there's a bunch of TVs on there, plus the radios in the hallway and every room, just about, as it should be, because, I'm on the radio side. So I am just being fed like this information, and not so much the stats, but just what's happening in sports news now.
Right.
So
you're part of it now.
I'm part of it
now.
And
inundated with it, I guess.
I wanted to say that, but I wasn't sure if that would come off as a negative thing, because it's not bad. It's just it's just bleeding into, my current state of knowing things, I guess. I don't know. It's it's interesting. So and plus it's actually what I'm learning at Espen is that summertime is actually pretty slow. All they really have going on is baseball, and their top commodity is football. So by the fall, I'm really going to be ramped up with busyness and things to do. So
I'm not a huge sports head myself, so that's something I knew as well. I wasn't sure how popular baseball was, but if that's like the only sport going, well, the football. Anyway, that makes sense, because football season is fall and into, I guess, a little bit of the winter. But don't ask me any questions about it. That's all I know.
I was getting ready to. I had a whole list of questions. I left it out of the rundown just to quiz you to see if you can make it at Espen. But but no, okay. But yeah, it's great. I am really enjoying myself, and I'm anxious to learn as much as I can to be a valuable asset, which they've already kind of like they've had meetings about me since I've been there. So they're like, ooh, what else can we utilize him? And what else can we have him do? So I'm excited for that. Yeah. But yeah, and when I mentioned sleeping habits before, it's just, I'm not waking up at the butt dimples of dawn, as I like to describe them anymore. So I actually get up after the sun, which is weird, because then each time I wake up, I'm panicking because I'm thinking I'm oversleeping. So that's new. But yeah, I feel like I'm even sleeping better. I'm not as stressed as much, because I'm, walking in my what is the word? It just escaped me.
Your lane?
Not my. Yeah, that'll work for now, because I there's another word. But yeah, I'm in my lane. I'm in my element. So
in your element, yeah.
So it's good. And I'm loving it. And so that's the update for there, because of people that were curious. It was also Prime Day. Did you get to partake at all during Prime Day?
No, but I hadn't planned on it. So I knew it was coming. I actually ordered stuff before Prime Day just because I wasn't going to wait. But yeah. I didn't partake though, not this year.
I see. I did show you my haul of the things that I got. And you didn't respond, but maybe it was too late at night. So I'm like, well, I'll just ask her on the pod because, she'd. Or did you still not look at it?
No, I looked at it. I just wasn't prepared to discuss it, but I can. I don't shy away from stuff like this.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, between you and I, we often still feel like we're leveling up in our adulting at times, especially when we have our own home and living space. So we're just trying to, either that be plants or things that we might cook and prepare, but also, furnish and decorate. So the majority of what I purchased was mostly lighting equipment.
Yeah.
Not equipment. Wow. Good Lord. Like end tables and nightstands with lamps and chargers built into them because this is 2022. You need chargers everywhere. Or at least the ports for them. So, yeah.
Right. Well, I did like the lamp. I think that was my favorite of your hauls. The lamp.
End table with the curved one or the nightstands?
The end. I don't know that I saw the nightstands. Oh, I do see it. So I guess I thought it was the tapestry. You have a tapestry hanging. I wasn't sure if that was the prom haul. But
no, because that was one of the first things I had a long time ago. So
I thought it looked familiar, but I couldn't. I don't know your life. But the nightstands are great now that I know that's the thing. But I think so. What I was talking about was the end table with the curvy lamp, and because it's super sophisticated looking, and I love the nightstands too. Actually, those are good finds.
Thanks. Those are actually, I feel like they're quite popular on Amazon because I see them so often. And then the nice thing about those is the price keeps coming down. And it was the lowest, I believe, on Prime Day. So I'm like, I'm going to get them now because this is something I've wanted. And I was initially just going to get one because at one point it was like $90 just for one. But then they came down to like 35. So
for each.
But for each, yes. But that was over the span of maybe like a few months. But yes, does make sense. So the other things I thought you might find interesting would be the spice racks. I don't know why. Just thought because, just
I
shelves.
love a spice rack though. Yeah, I love a good spice rack. And those are magnetic, so they stick on the fridge, right?
Correct.
Which I love.
And it's right over where I cook with my air fryer. It's right there, my Ninja Foodie. So it's just like, okay. And what I decided to do is just move the most used seasonings there. And then the next ones are on that little rolly cart, which was one of the last hauls you and I talked about. And in fact, you recommended to me. So, so there are other additional spices as well as just I'll call them utility items like, dish soap and then sponges because I can't fit them under the sink because there's other things occupying that space. And then on the other side of the refrigerator is the paper towel roll because I don't have a lot of counter space. So I'm trying to, find whatever real estate I can elsewhere.
I understand.
But yeah.
And that's also see your croissant bread just hanging out over there.
Oh, that was not supposed to be on display. I wasn't trying to, we had this discussion also where you were trying to find some. And did you find some? Did you happen to go to either location?
I found some and I got 2 loaves and the first loaf is already gone. I'm not the only one eating the croissant bread, but
okay.
I did purchase and I got 2 rolls just in case, or 2 rolls, 2 loaves just in case. 2 loaves, whatever.
Loaves.
Loaves.
Well, yeah, with
Anyways,
the V.
They have been purchased and one has been demolished and we get to start on the next one tomorrow. I'm so excited already.
Oh, great. I am the sole person here that eats them or eats that because gluten issues and then the kid is just picky. So I don't think I've actually introduced it to him. And I've only used 2 slices so far just to make I forgot how big the sandwiches are if you're trying to make a sandwich with them. which I have done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did eat. It's messy, but it's delicious. So there you have it. So that was Prime Day. I bought a whole bunch of plugs and things to make life a little simpler, a little safer, because I have too many extension cords. It's a mess. But I fixed it. It looks better, it looks more professional. If you want to go for professionalism. But yeah, that was Prime Day. I had a good haul there, and just good. Now I have no way to segue into this. This is just something that happened yesterday, and I get home, and the rules here for parking are odd in that sometimes they're enforced, sometimes they're not. And I'm wondering if my neighbors above me, if they got their car towed and they just haven't been able to get it back because I haven't seen them. And I know for a long time they haven't had a sticker to like signify like, hey, we live here. And in fact, I didn't have one for like the first year I lived here until an email got sent around saying, hey, you got to get your sticker or stickers. And it was sent to everybody, but whatever. Maybe they don't check their emails. I don't know their story. And I don't know where their car is. But I mentioned all that to say,
go ahead. You may be about to answer my question.
That occasionally I will notice that a tow truck will come around and just like swoop and trying to find a better, just, smooth take their car away. Just in the dead of night or even in the middle of the afternoon. So I've seen it happen about 3 times now. And I mean, just this year alone. And there's no telling when they'll come, because sometimes they'll just come around and just like not swarm because there's only one of them, but just kind of lurk like a predator trying to get its prey, just like hiding behind the other cars. Like, there it is. Right. Snatch. And then, so
snatching your people up.
I mean, and it sucks. It's sad because I've seen someone arrive and not 5 minutes later, a tow truck just comes and snatches the car away. I'm like, they just got here.
Wow.
Yeah. So I felt real bad for that person. Yeah, I know. And it's not like I get it if they're a repeat offender or if they've been parked there for a long time.
Yeah. But they had just pulled up. So is that what the stickers do? Like it you can park in certain spots and the stickers basically say, yes, I live here. Yes, I'm supposed to be here. Is that
pretty much? Pretty much. Like you are allowed to park on the premises, like in the parking lot. But I think because of the way that the complex is, there are like they're not streets, but they're kind of little roadways to get to other parking lots, but they could be like right in front of a door. So maybe you're dropping somebody off. So you may not go to a parking space, but you'll just, hang out by the side, maybe idle, or like I sometimes do. If I have a lot of groceries, I will park on this little alleyway so I can unload the car and then go move the car. Or if I'm going to be there just for a short while. But what I'm not quite sure of now because of what happened yesterday is that someone was parked there and I'm really not sure if they are a tenant or I don't think that they are, because I did see a little sticker, but it could be for a different building. I'm not entirely sure of how or why, but this lovely woman was in the process of being towed away. And this man who was like, doing his job kind of quickly and thoroughly or efficiently. And then all of a sudden she kind of popped down. I was like, hey, I'm just here, just drop off some prescription for my dad or whatever. I was only hearing pieces of the conversation, but in my head, I was thinking like, this might go differently because she is an attractive woman. And the way that this guy is already eyeing her, I'm wondering if there's going to be some kind of exchange of some sort. And I will know this because her car will still be here by the time I, follow up. Now I went back into my unit to mind my own business for a little while until someone over there who just barked was like, hey, we should go outside. Or rather, Ashley suggested I take him outside. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. Cause that way I can go back and investigate and see what happens. And it did just that, but I was not able to hear the full conversation other than the fact when I walk by them and this the whole like getting to know you, like, oh, you're from over there. I'm like, oh, great. I'm over here. And both of them had their phones out and I'm like, next thing I know, the car is coming back down because it was already in the tow position. So it
sure enough
back down. I heard some apologies, and then eventually he kind of drove away. And I bet like he must have been smiling real hard, and like I don't know, she went back inside. So listen, I don't know.
You just have to do what you have to do. You know, you do.
And that is what I kind of the conclusion I came to as well. Because I think I've only seen her maybe once or twice. I'm like, oh, she's a pretty young lady. And and I think she definitely had that face card working in her favor. Just
well, good for her.
Yeah, good for her. And maybe there might be a date along the way. Maybe. I don't know. I'm speculating. But hey, you know, I'm not mad at it. They did what they had to do. So yeah, I just wanted to.
Good for her. I'm glad she didn't get a car towed.
Correct, because that I was trying to, that just sucks. I was gonna like really emphasize it, but I couldn't remember how they did it in the show that I was watching where they emphasized it. But yes, it sucks to a great amount.
Yes,
there's not a I can't quantify how much it hurts. So yeah. So yeah, that happened yesterday. And it's fun. Not fun. That part is not fun. No, but it's interesting to watch, you know, neighbors and things that happen within the parking lot. People arguing with each other through glass, because that happens sometimes. Watching people kind of fish in the dumpsters for whatever they can find. And it's interesting. And that's just me just hanging out in the window, just being nosy. But I mean, I'm the neighborhood watch. I'm just watching out for my neighborhood.
So, yeah. Gotta see what's going on out there. You just never know.
You never know. Mm-hmm. Now, I've only really come up with a couple segues for this episode, but I don't have one for Sheboygan news.
Good morning, Sheboygan.
So as I decided, because I'm like, you know what? It's been a long time since I've done any Sheboygan news. Let me see what I can find. And then I think I just put Sheboygan in the search bar, and Google gave me a list of questions that people ask about Sheboygan.
Okay.
And one of them happened to be, why is Sheboygan famous? And I'm like, is Sheboygan famous? I mean, other than the fact that we talk about it so often.
And it has a name like Sheboygan?
Yes.
Well, I was saying, that I want to know why. Is it? I didn't realize it was famous. So let's hear it.
All right. I found that Sheboygan has been a surf destination for over 50 years and now is known by many as the freshwater surf capital of the world. Because of its location and geography, it has some of the best waves on the Great Lakes. You can surf all year, but the prime time is winter.
Oh,
I did not.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
I was. Well, I do know that during the wintertime, there's this thing called like lake effect snow, but that's more so for like snowy things. But maybe just everything is turbulent and the waters must be churning quite a bit. So surfing is probably ideal best then. I don't know if you need to wear like extra, like a wetsuit to keep warm, because I don't really know what the temperature. I'm assuming it's cold and wintry.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine so.
What I was expecting to read was like the bratwurst capital of the world. And
are they the bratwurst capital of the world?
That is not something that came up. I did not search further. I didn't even search to see who is the bratwurst capital of the world. Probably some country out in I don't know. What am I trying to think of? Like Germany or Switzerland, somewhere out there?
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah. I don't know. I will verify that later. But as I continue to do my search, like, let me actually find an actual news story, because I often just find like random tidbits and facts about Sheboygan, which is not bad, but I just kind of actually want to read something that has something to do with something. So I came across this.
No, so right. I agree.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So after learning her dad died of suicide, 8-year-old steps up lemonade stand to raise money for awareness. And this is a Sheboygan area school district student Kylie, held a lemonade stand earlier this month to raise funds for her mental health, and donated her $800 earnings to the I'm guessing this Mental Health Association, which is a local cornerstone organization in suicide prevention. And then they also just added, "Way to go, Kylie." So yes,
go Kylie.
That's all just a whole bunch of great things, all in just one little little news thing there.
Yeah.
So yes, great job, Kylie. Glad you're doing good things for a good cause.
Good things. Turning her terrible situation into something good.
Right. So I felt like, oh, this is a great story. And just, it gave me hope. So it was nice to see. So I have a link, which I will share in the show notes, so you can read more if you prefer, and you should, because there's more stuff in there. It's great. So we will move on, because again, I don't have a actual segue or transition to. I'm learning as I'm at work at ESPN how to transition to things, and some of these hosts and on-air personalities, they do it so well. So I'm trying to learn from them and glean. And now that I actually get to sit in front of a computer, I actually have time to write out some of these rundowns, as well as kind of work out how segues could work, because they have producers that actually write this for them. So yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, we're going to Black History Facts.
Black History.
So today's Black History Fact is about Mary McLeod Bethune. Is that a name that rings a bell for you?
It's not. Tell me about her.
She is, she was a passionate educator and presidential advisor for Roosevelt, Franklin D. Roosevelt, but also a really good friend of Eleanor Roosevelt. In her long career of public service, she became one of the earliest Black female activists that helped lay the foundation to the modern civil rights movement. And then earlier this week, or actually, I think it was last week. So yes, they are honoring her with a statue, which is the first state commissioned statue in the Statuary Hall. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that word right. But it features 2 statues from each state. And this is an event celebrating the statue unveiling on Wednesday, was attended by House Speaker and Majority Leader and her family. There is a statue of Rosa Parks in the Statuary Hall, but it wasn't a state-sponsored effort. According to the architect of the Capitol, the tributes to Parks was the first statue commissioned by Congress since 1873. The daughter of the formerly enslaved people, Bethune became an influential Black educator and civil and women's rights leader. She opened a boarding school for Black children in 1904, which later became Bethune-Cookman University. Bethune led voter registration drives after women gained the right to vote in 1920. She served as an advisor to 5 U.S. presidents. Bethune was named director of the National Youth Administration's Office of Negro Affairs under President Franklin Roosevelt. She was also, as I said before, friends with First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. In recent years, momentum has grown for the removal of Confederate statues from the places of prominence across the US of A. And she replaced the bust of Roger B. Taney, the Chief Justice who wrote the Dred Scott decision. And then there is another one that's honoring Thurgood Marshall, the first African-American Supreme Court Justice. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But I will post the rest of this article also in the show notes.
Nice. She sounds awesome.
Yeah. And I had a personal kind of memory, not necessarily of her, but a portrait of her at my old church. Like they had all these like portraits of all these influential African-American heroes, and only a few of them I actually kind of knew or maybe recognized like maybe their name. She was definitely not one of them, but the picture of her kind of like, I don't want to say burned a memory in my, memory, but I was like, oh, okay. And then after I saw like some more pictures of her and, just read more about her life, I'm like, that's where I've seen you. You were on the wall at my old church. Oh,
Oh, so nice.
Yeah. So she's well known. Well, she should be. Hopefully she will be more. But I am also loving that we are taking down the Confederate statues, continuing to leave Confederate statues erected to be celebrated, impinges on what the idea of America should stand for.
Agreed. That. They should all come down.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
I say that because that is our word watch for today. Impinge.
Word watch.
I feel like I really have to wrap like my lips around to say that word because it just feels like such a strong word.
I love it. It's like a $25 word, I think.
It is. And only because it came up in something I was watching last night, well, I'll get to later. But a quick definition, and I'll give you two of them really. And that is have an effect or an impact, especially a negative one, or advance over an area belonging to someone or something else, or encroach. So both of these does apply to what I said earlier. So yes.
Yes. Agreed.
Now I do want to impinge on your comfort level a little bit because we are first of all, we're going to space. And then while we're in space, a little bit of spookums. Just a little bit.
Okay. I'm ready, I think.
All right. Okay. I think you should. It should be okay. Like it's not too spooky, but I just wanted to put it in there because I haven't done it in a while. So,
okay.
It sounds like you're bracing yourself, getting ready.
I am. I always brace myself when you say there's space plus spookums. That's a lot,
right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I feel like you have good reason to be because you just never know. But here we go. Astronomers have detected an unusual radio signal from a far-off galaxy. The signal is a fast radio burst, or FRB, an intensely strong burst of radio waves. So usually the mysterious signals last for a few milliseconds at most, but this one lasted up to a whole 3 seconds and included bursts. It included bursts of radio waves every 0.2 seconds in a clear periodic pattern. So that alone is what?
I knew you were going to say that the burst lasted a whole hour. I knew it. That's why I was laughing because, a whole 3 seconds, which I guess is longer than before, but.
Like milliseconds or point milliseconds?
Right.
It isn't.
Longer than that.
But what makes it interesting is that it's like a steady rhythmic, like later on in this article, it's described as almost like a quick heartbeat. So it's as if they're not saying that there's life that's kind of sending kind of a signal out. If anything, it could be either a radial pulsar, which I would have to look into what exactly that is. Probably like a pulsar, like a regular pulsar star, but just sends out radio waves instead of light waves. A magnetar, which I've never heard of, but also probably interesting, probably also deadly, I'm thinking, for some reason. Two types of neutron stars, a radio pulsar and a magnetar are two types of neutron stars, which are collapsed cores of massive stars. So it's probably not safe to be around them either way, but this is probably what's sending these signals out. And I don't know if you've done like I've done and have watched numerous space videos and things involving stars dying and then them collapsing and then being quasars or pulsars or spinning around, emitting light, killing things.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, you have. Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, I know you do. I know you do because I mean, it's what we obsess over at times. And it is a thing that I do recall even on this very show talking about how a quasar would be the one thing that we cannot, our mere mortal selves cannot prepare for in any way whatsoever. Like we can't even get a warning because they are so quick, and so fast.
Yeah.
Like NASA might discover like, oh, look, a quake. And then it's too late. We're done.
Yeah. And that's terrifying. Like, thanks a lot. That's terrifying.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be spookums if I didn't scare you a little bit. It's true.
You're right. I just don't like that you're right about this.
But fortunately, this is just radio bursts, not like I almost said quantum burst, but that's not what I mean. I think that's something else. I think it's real, but I'm thinking Marvel. But I'm thinking it's probably just quasar. Quasar. We'll get back to it and just do a whole terrifying thing about that. But the other big thing that happened that we were both excited about, and I will definitely still try to see if I can pull a special guest one day on this very pod. But the big news was about Joust. And yes, that is what I call it. I call it Joust. And that is the James Webb Space Telescope, which all the science people and smart people and theorists and I almost said pharmacists, professors call the Webb telescope or just Webb. But I mean, Joust, it's right there. Like, come on.
I mean, I just call it James Webb, but that's not its full name, like its full power. And I don't know if we know each other like that for me to like give it, we call it by its government name and not its full like state name. So I don't know, but I like Joust. Well, I'd have to think about what you're talking about it every single time you say that, but I do like it.
I understand. Because I'm not sure, like, would you prefer like, I'm sorry, that's Mr. Space Telescope to you, but that would also be Hubble. But what is Hubble's whole name? Is it Hubble Space Telescope? I don't know. I've never looked it up.
I just call it Hubble, and I know we're on the same page. I know what I'm talking about. I don't know.
Is Hubble its first name, or is it just like, it's like, no, I am Timothy Hubble. So I don't know. I mean, I know it's named after someone named Hubble. I don't know what that person's name, their first name is. So that's why I'm not sure even how to address this telescope.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I saw the full name, Hubble's full name recently, just because, with Joust kind of doing its amazing thing, Hubble definitely comes into the conversation every time. And one of the articles I read about it definitely mentioned Hubble and gave a little bit of its history, but I don't know. I've slipped since then, so I can't remember. So I'm saying the information's out there if we really wanted to know its full name.
Which right now, not that I don't, but I don't want to look it up.
No, I don't want to either. Same.
Because right now we're here to talk about Joust and the new images that had been released last week, as well as the things that they keep releasing, which to me so far haven't been as awe-inspiring as what they have shown us so far. But I am thoroughly interested. Like I still feel it's paramount and very important information that they are showing and sharing with us. The most recent thing being Jupiter. And some, not necessarily the light, but it's shown in a different light and different things that are coming from the planet as well as the moon. And I think that you can even see the ring that's around it. So
the ring around great. The moon?
The ring. Yes, the ring. Or wait, the ring. I'm sorry, the ring around Jupiter.
Oh, I forget that Jupiter it's very faint. I forget that it has rings though, or a ring.
I think, well, and this may have changed. I thought it had at least one ring, but a very faint one. It might have more. That part I cannot confirm. I mean, as much as my interest in Jupiter is also up there too. And I'm glad they spent a special probe that time a couple of years ago just to study it. So I don't know, but they did send back some photos. And I have a hard time calling them photos. And is that what they are? I feel safer or more comfortable calling them images.
I feel like images is way more like we didn't send our, a phone up there or strap it to the James Webb telescope to be like, boop, let's take a selfie. Like, they're just more sharp and more like official. So I call them images as well.
Right. Because even the images that they shared with us are composites of different images. There's the I think it's like a thermal one. They're all definitely very high definition to the fact that you can see galaxies that the Hubble couldn't see before.
Right.
So
right.
And hopefully by now people have seen these images. They know what we're talking about. But I just want to go ahead and jump to, and you may have already answered the question before. I don't remember, but do you have a favorite?
Well, I like the one that shows all of the galaxies and shows the, oh goodness, this is the gravitational lens.
Oh yeah,
the thing that makes the galaxies, because of stuff that's in front of them.
The dark matter
it bends their, it makes it. It's hard to say. Basically, it bends their image and what they look like. I think I love that one the most. It's not as flashy as like the 5 galaxies in one, or that one with the exploding or imploding star. But I love what the big, I call it the big picture because it looks like the big picture to me. It's all of these galaxies that are just so far away, so like unfathomably far away. And I don't know, it's just so neat to me. Such a neat picture.
It really is. And it is very awe-inspiring. And just to show like, wow, we are really, really tiny.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, there's a lot. And to go back to what you were discussing or trying to explain, which I can't do a better job at either, but I want to point the direction to Dr. Chanda Prescott Weinstein, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing her name right, because I honestly have not heard it spoken out loud, and I have to go find a video just so I can hear it, so I can pronounce it correctly. She's someone that I would love to talk to one day, because she definitely explains what was happening in that picture. And even now, I'm more excited about her excitement of what was happening in that picture and in that image with the gravitational lensing.
Yeah.
So what I did do, and please do not be mad at me, I did watch her TED Talk, which I think had come out maybe 2 days ago.
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 days ago?
Well, maybe not 2 days ago, but it was fairly recent. Like it was a little after these images came out.
Nice.
And the thing about it is, like, she was actually using images from the Hubble, but this was before the JWST images came out. So I'm sure she definitely would have used those images in her presentation. So she discussed what it is that she'd be looking for, what she is looking for, a lot of it having to do with dark matter and trying to figure out exactly what it is, dark matter and dark energy. Things that still kind of boggle my mind. And I will admit, I did get a little lost, but I'm glad that you know what you're talking about and that you are here to break things down and then explain it to us so we can understand why this is important. Because I know it's important. I just couldn't tell you why it's important. I just know that it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, could you follow along with what she was saying?
Yes. For the most part, I could. And because she also had images and things I can look at. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what you mean. Great. And then my lovely family at times would come in and ask me a question, so I didn't have to go rewind a few seconds just to kind of re-immerse myself back into what she was saying, so I can kind of get a gist of what she was saying and comprehend it. So, because what I do understand is that some people that do listen to the show like how we break things down, and I would love to be able to break down the things that interest me, so maybe it might be interesting to someone else. So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to check that TED Talk out. And I thought she had one before. So I'm wondering if there's a couple, like if she's done TED Talks more than once. I did
too. And I was searching because I thought there was, like you, I thought she did one like a couple of years ago, but I couldn't find anything. All I could find was the one that was just put out
she posted
a couple days after. I don't know if she posted on her like Twitter or anything, but she did, or not she, but there are many interviews with her over the last few years. Okay. And I'm like, ooh, I'd like to add my name to that list. Yeah, she is. Right. She is. So, plus I have read her book, The Disordered Cosmos, A Journey into Dark Matter, Space, Time, and Dreams Deferred. And at this point, I really do need to read it again because I really enjoyed what I read, but I know I didn't retain as much as I should. So that's on my list to reread, but it's a book I own, so I can go back and read it as many times as I'd like.
Right, right.
But yeah, I never actually said what my favorite image out of the 5 were or are. And I'm still actually a little bit between the Southern Ring or ring. I don't know if that's plural. And the cliff. It has a name, but I'm just calling it the cliff. And I feel like the cliff would make for good like wallpaper for like a desktop. And I don't mean to resort it in like just like I'm just going to use it for this, but because I truly do kind of look at people's desktop pictures just to see what they are, see like what that represents to them, what kind of person they are. So yeah, I'm judging them. So yeah. But the rings, the Southern Ring, that one just speaks to me because I can see the explosion because that's what it was. It was a star that exploded and you just see all this dust and star stuff coming from it. And from that comes life, comes other galaxies and just all the matter that makes us. So I don't know, just that image just really moves me. And that's why. The other one, I mean, kind of for the same reasons, but it just looks like you can just kind of go there and and I don't even know what you do when you get there because it's actually much, much, much bigger than what it looks like. So it's amazing. And it only took a few days for these things to end up on, not end up, but someone uploaded them to Displate, which is a website where you can go to order artwork on metal sheets rather than just, posters or other kind of canvases. It's actually metal that you can stick to your wall using magnets. And it's, I don't know. It did make my list. So it's on my wish list now.
Good choice. I can't imagine, like, I would love to have this just blown up in my house somewhere to remind me, man, the universe is crazy. It's crazy big too. It's crazy beautiful, crazy scary, and just awesome.
All the things, and they're all in this picture, but all are in this image here. All the things. And the thing about Joust is it's just getting started. So it's
right. Oh my God.
I'm excited to.
Me too. Ugh, love it.
I feel like I've kind of blown your mind a little bit, even though I didn't really do anything. It's just us talking about this that really just excites us. And hopefully there are some other nerds out there that listen that feel the same way, or at least a little bit of it. Because unfortunately, my lovely wife does not share the same enthusiasm, but that's okay. I still love her very much. So she'll just have to deal with it. What happened though, the other day we were visiting a doctor's office and there was space photos or space images on the walls. And I gotta say, and this was before Joust came out with their images, but I was not impressed at all. Like it just seemed like some it was, I think it listed what it was. It could have been just some galaxy, but there was nothing about it that spoke to me about it. So I'm like, like I've seen better. I just wasn't impressed. Like do better, space. Like do better. So
you do better. We deserve more.
Yeah. Like this is not a good offering for me. I need something else to be moved. But hey, Joust has done that for me. And plus, and I'm not like shaming Hubble whatsoever because I could have been a Hubble image. I don't know, but Hubble has produced some really, really great pieces that are still out there.
Bangers.
Yeah. So good stuff out there. Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up there and move on to recommendations if you have any.
Well, sure. Sure. So lately I've been watching, I finally, got my little 7-day trial of Discovery Plus just because I have long been a fan of the show. Have you ever heard of the show called Sister Wives?
Yes.
Ever heard of that show? Sure. So, I started watching it, when it first came out, or around about when it first came out, and they've been on forever. Haven't had cable in a few years though, so I haven't been able to really watch the show. And I was like, I'm not getting another streaming service just to watch this stinking show. So I've just been keeping up, the highlights of their lives. But then I'm like, okay, I'm sick of this. I wanna know the details. I need to know. I can't find this information anywhere without searching too much. I'm just gonna, see about a trial for Discovery Plus. So found the trial, and I was like, oh, okay, well, if I just keep the trial, it's only like, I forget how much they want, $7 or something for ad free, 10 maybe. I don't know. I'm like, I got $10.
Right.
I can do that, because of course I'm trying out the ad free version, and it's amazing. Of course I'm spoiled on it now. So, anyways, I have been binging Sister Wives, getting caught up on what's going on with them, and I have been loving it. So I would love for folks to watch it with me, so I have someone to commiserate with and to discuss, all of my feelings about what's going on in the show. So if you're brave enough, join me on this journey.
Wow.
So we can talk about, it's you got to be brave, and I need community. So please join me if you dare.
I'll consider it. I know you're not talking to me specifically, but in a sense you are. But
you're invited.
I think I do have Disney Plus. I think not Disney Plus, Discovery Plus.
Discovery Plus.
Right.
Hello.
It's so much different.
So much different.
But yeah, maybe I might take a look, a gander, if you will, because there are times that we just need something just to put on, and we don't really want to, just
watch it.
Yeah, just to watch, but not have like I don't want to call it a valid interest, because I don't want to like dismiss any shows that we do this to. But
sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, because we have like what we call our nighttime shows. So we'll put on, and usually it's things we've already seen, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
But it's fine because we can go back and rewatch it later should we choose to.
Right.
So I'm feeling like it could possibly be that, because we did that to another show where it was a show about I want to call it Airbnb, but it was like some kind of a hotel show and just renovating your place so you can rent it out to people.
I know what you're talking about. I cannot think of the name though. I know what you're talking about.
And then we also did it with another show where it's glass blowers. And we kind of watched that until we fell asleep. And then we had to go back. It's like, oh, wait, who won? And then, so. So, yeah, we would do it to shows like that. And again, there's nothing wrong with the show. It's just like, okay, we just need some lights. And I forgot the term. Yeah. It's something that's in my one of the chat groups that we kind of we talk about, where it's just like stress-free or drama-free, even though there might be some drama. And it sounds like Sister Wives probably would be.
Drama. And then not like stressful drama.
Right. So that I'm all for. And I try to remember what they are by the time it's bedtime, or else we end up watching Bob's Burgers for the umpteenth time. So I try to put some other things in circulation. So yeah, unless we actually get really interested, then that might be how we work that into the rotation. Maybe.
I just think it's an interesting show, very interesting.
And I feel like I do need some kind of reality show to kind of get into. I just feel like that's just the missing thing.
Missing piece there.
Right. So as for my recommendation, I still must be on somewhat of a anime kick a little bit. But this one has actually been recommended to me from Netflix itself. And it's been recommending it to me for, I want to say, maybe a year at least, maybe even more. I don't know. But it is called The Disastrous Life of Psyche K.
Okay.
And I absolutely love this show.
Okay.
Now, as I was discussing just a little while ago about having a show to put on to kind of go to sleep to, that's what I was about to do with this show. But then there's so much that happens. Oh, not even so much that happens. It's just a very funny show. So first of all, this show is about a teenager who is a psychic. He's a very powerful psychic. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that might put a couple hooks in you already, because I know how you feel about people with...
I'm in.
Right. So he was born this way. I mean, it starts out with him talking about how he was born, how he was able to speak, not even speak, but kind of just talk telepathically to people at like the age of like 2 months, I think. Wow. He was able to run errands for his parents by he was like 2, and his parents are borderline idiots, especially his dad. And I'm not joking, but like, they have their moments like, why are you doing this? Well, you're not smart at all. So, but he's kind of keeping them in line. In fact, he's keeping the world in line because there are like asteroids that are actively trying to come to the planet, and he'll just blow them up using his mind. Whoa. Or he'll go out in space and get rid of them. Yeah. That's crazy. It's crazy. But his life is disastrous because he has to deal with all these people around him. And he knows who are stupid. He knows what they're thinking. He knows what they're going to say. And I love the cast of characters and how he almost like begrudgingly has to interact with them. There are times you're not sure if he's actually speaking to them telepathically or he's just thinking his own thoughts. Either way, it's an ongoing conversation that you hear from him, and it's hilarious because I love his dry wit. I'm like, wow, this sounds like me a little bit, like how I think about people. So I say that now I feel like a terrible person because of the things that he says to people or thinks about them. But it's just very funny. I love it. And I'm glad I'm still in the first season, and like the episodes are so short, but I can only watch so much so often because I don't have enough time. But there's like 3 seasons, technically 4. There's a live action version out there somewhere, which I probably won't watch because I don't think I have access to it, but I didn't see good ratings about it. So I'm like, maybe I'll skip it. So yeah. And the other thing I want to recommend very quickly is The Day the Music Died. It's a documentary about the story of Don McLean's American Pie song. And it's a song that I really like. I've liked since, prior to this documentary coming out, because it just came out. But the story behind the song, which a lot of people have had speculations about, and Don himself has not really been forthcoming to what the lyrics mean, but he does break down even all of them, but a good chunk of them. Because there's even speculation that at some points he's talking about not James Dean, Bob Dylan in the song. And he actually comes on and says, if I was talking about Bob Dylan, I would have said Bob Dylan in the song. So he makes some points, and he puts a period on it. Like, right. Next question. So I felt it to be very informative. Also at times a bit emotional because of all the things that the song kind of encompasses of what it means to a lot of people. And it was good. And then it just made me listen to the song on repeat on the way to work today. So, which really meant listening to it twice because it's such a long song, but it's a good song. So, yeah.
Like a song that just makes you indulge like that. And get deep into it.
Right. And just, I'm a fan of songs that tell stories, and that's what this one does. Chief does not like this song. I'm sorry.
No.
He wants me to move on.
Yeah, he's not very happy about it. Yeah. He's just like, enough of this song already.
Right. I think he's also trying to get out of the room. But a moment of gratitude is up next. I'm saying that as if we're going to a commercial, and we're not. I've been at Espen too long already. What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for my plant babies. They teach me about the cycle of life and caring for, things and patience. And, right now, a few of them are upset at me and like their leaves are turning yellow. And I think I know what I did wrong, but I have to just suffer my experimentation and just kind of stick with them and still care for them, even though they're mad at me. But then there's others that are thriving and they are growing new leaves and they're, really happy. So I don't know. I love this ongoing like hobby of mine. And I just love doing it and seeing it, watching them grow. They bring me peace and happiness and comfort.
I do. I mean, I'm speaking for my household as well, and all the plants that we have, and it does bring a sense of peace and just liveliness and homeliness. I'm like, it's, and you do learn from them. Like, okay, that's too much water for you. There's one that Ashley told me recently, I think, is no longer with us, so we have to depart with it shortly. Yeah, I think it's an outside plant. So I think that's why. I don't know. I don't remember which one it is, but yeah, we'll follow up with that later. Today, I am grateful for the S-Pen AC system, because there are times that I'm at work, and depending on what room I'm in, sometimes it's a specific studio or even just the green room that I tend to be in the most. And it's just absolutely freezing. So
you be like this. You said you're grateful for it. So this is a good thing that it's absolutely freezing. Yeah.
Absolutely, because it is scorching outside. And I know my father is one to remind me, because thank you so much, Dad, for listening, because he called me the other day and he asked me, are you topless or are you bottomless? And I'm like, wow, what a question.
Oh, no.
Because I mean, if you listen to the last episode, that's kind of how we started out talking about just, you know, how hot things were. But we can attest that it's actually hotter than it was when we did that episode. So
yes.
Yeah. So feel free, let your mind wander what it is that we're actually wearing or not today. But no, at S-Pen, the AC unit is on high gear, and it kind of has to be because of all the technology that's there. But it's recommended that maybe you bring a hoodie or a sweater, because I definitely see people walking around, you know, with that and with longer sleeves. It's already part of the dress code that you don't wear shorts, but you probably wouldn't want to because it's just that chilly at times. But again, I mean this as a good thing, because it's going to be the same temperature all year long. So that's great. So yeah, I am grateful for the air conditioning at work, because last job, oh man, it would have been brutal. Just absolutely just terrible. Yeah.
And Daniel works in a warehouse type situation where there is air, but it's not really like, you're not going to, my understanding is you're not just going to feel it blowing on you. It's just there so you don't die during the manual labor that he does. And he said today it was broken. And so they had to go in a little bit earlier than normal, but because it's just so dang hot. I mean, he said it was 84 in there just starting out. And today is actually one of our cooler days, one of our cooler summer days, because it was only like 95. But, you know, that's when you're in a warehouse, you're doing some manual labor and it's already hot outside. He was saying that it was hotter on the inside than it was on the outside even this morning, which means it was real hot. So yeah,
I can attest. Yeah.
He. So for them to not have any ear is just kind of dangerous. Scary.
A little bit. Well. But hey, that does it for this episode of the indoob podcast. Do you want to be found anywhere? And if so, then you can share that.
Sure. You can find me on the Twitters at I am K Hinton, talking about joust. Did I say it right? Joust.
You did. Okay, yes.
Cool.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I kind of
catch me there.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why it always happens. No, it's good. It just, it's always, for whatever reason, it seems like that you speak with an ellipses after you give your, where people can find you and what you're talking about. I don't know. It could just be me.
Well, I used to give a lot longer what's the monologue? I don't know. A lot longer of a
spiel
hook there. Sure. Spiel. Yeah, sure. So yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Okay,
You're still waiting on the longer spiel, and I'm like, nope, short and sweet.
Yep. Just right here. That's it. Don't look for me anywhere else. It's right here. Got it. And that's fine. Now I actually do have a bit of a script for my closing, and I do not have that. I cannot find it. And, but hey, you can find me at all things at indoob. Go to indoob.com, and, I think somewhere have a link, because I don't think I updated the website to reflect the new Anchor link. However, if you are subscribed elsewhere like Spotify and I think Apple Podcast, should hopefully still everything work out. I will be testing everything after I release this episode. So we'll see, and I'll get all those bugs worked out. With that said, please share it once it's out there and you're able to find it and hear it. Please share it with your friends, family, coworkers, I guess. Oh, anybody who you think just might be interested in our nerdy brand of humor and things that we find interesting. And continue to follow me, hopefully, on Indoob. I don't know why I said hopefully. Not that I'm going anywhere, but Indoob on Twitter, Instagram. I do post things on occasion there. And TikTok. I just kind of post links to come back here to the podcast. So I'm out there. And remember, no, not yet.
Not yet.
I'm sorry. I am distracted that Chief has found someone to talk to outside. So that's what I'm a little distracted with. So I have to go investigate to make sure nobody's trying to come in. Yeah, that's places you can find me. Please stay hydrated.
Yeah. Or just stay inside.
You found somebody. Yeah, I'm sorry. Stay hydrated or stay inside. Remember to be kind and to tell someone that you value them, and live life without regrets. Live for the folks you love. I messed all that up. But I've been your benevolent host, Steve Sterling Watson. And remember, if the world didn't suck, we'd all fall off henceforth and forevermore. And we all said,
Amen.
Amen indeed.
Thanks for listening to the Indoob podcast, which was recorded from the south side of Wakanda in Little New Indoobia on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive, and is part of the Indoob network. Want more Indoob? Follow on Instagram and Twitter at Indoob, and on Facebook at IndoobPod. You can contact us and send Ask Indoob questions by emailing indoobpod@gmail.com. Want to support or donate? Find the TeePublic store or become a patron on Patreon, where subscribing gives you perks and extra things from the Indoob network. Please subscribe, rate, comment, and share the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, Podbean, and wherever else podcasts are found. And of course, visit indoob.com for all of this and much more. Thank you so much for letting us entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. Until next time.
Use your words, Chief. Good boy.
This has been another 3SFX production.